FM News Talk 97.1.
On demand audio.
This is Michigan right now.
That's the head of American for Prosperity for Michigan.
They're attacking AFP activists who tried to have a rally, and they screamed at them, shouted them down, jumped up on stage, tore down their tent with people in it. And I was looking online, and I saw this tweet from our regular Friday guest, Steven Crowder, and it said, got punched 4 times in the face, all this other stuff happened. Then I saw the photos. Steven, please tell me you're being safe. What happened?
I'm about as safe as one can be for someone who just got his butt kicked by a mob of people who, Dana, I hate it when people use the word literally all the time. It makes me figuratively insane. Dana, they literally would have killed me where I stood if I'd have fought back and defended myself from sucker punches. They literally would have torn me limb from limb. And I believe me, I don't mean that figuratively.
Wow. So you're telling me that they're not in the Christmas spirit.
No, they're not in the Christmas spirit. Well played, Dana. I wish I could be more funny today, but still a little rattled. I got a ring cut on my forehead and a chipped tooth. These people demolished, tore down a tent with women and children inside it, and sucker punched me 5 times, and then said they would kill me with a gun. So
they said they would kill you with a gun?
Yeah, they said I've killed 20 MFers with a gun. I'll kill you with a gun. It's all on tape. All of it is on tape. It's going up. Follow me on Twitter at @SCrowder, and you will see the live release. Listen, I can't do anything about it. Was assaulted, and when it's mob rule, you just gotta kind of turtle and let them wail on you. And that's what happened. That's what happened today. This wasn't a small, isolated incident. You will see The Dark Knight Rises has nothing on this as far as mob rule.
So
People assaulting innocent women and children, calling them rats, telling them, get your cheese, MF and rat, to people who are actually, it's part of them because it becomes such a skirmish at a certain point. They're literally wailing on their own people. I've never seen anything like it, and I don't think you have either. Again, people should stay tuned to my Twitter for this video.
Yeah, and I saw the photos. I saw the cut on your head. I've seen, your face looks real red. Do you have, swelling and all of that stuff? Because I definitely could see the blood.
It's not bad. Listen, it's not bad. Here's the thing, as everyone who knows, who's seen me on the show, I do submission wrestling. I'm a pretty high-level competitor. So what happened is, you'll see this in the video, he sucker punches me. I immediately clinch him, grabbing his jacket in the back of his head, and I clinch him, and you'll see he can't hit me because I'm limiting his mobility, and I'm saying to him, okay, please don't hit me, please don't hit me, I'm going to let you go, I'm going to let you go. And as I do this, I'm not even hurting him, I'm just stopping him from hitting me. The mob rule steps in, Dana. They're about to literally whomp on me, and so I let him go. And once I let him go and turtle, he starts sucker punching me again. I tell you, I showed it to my wife just now, and she was in tears and very, very disturbed. She gets more upset about it than I am. I was beat down, Dana, by a mob of people. That's what happened. There's no way around it. I was out on my feet for a couple of seconds there.
Wow. I'm glad you're okay. And you were there just simply, because you're not confrontational. You are not a confrontational person. When you go and interview people, you go to get interviews for your video footage. All you do is ask questions. So if anyone would try to use that argument, there's nothing in your past that would ever, go look at his body of work on YouTube, folks. Just go to YouTube/Steven Crowder, and it's up there. You were just simply there doing what you do, and they took offense to that?
Well, they took offense to everyone. They tore down, you have to remember, 2 entire AFP tents. They tore it apart, literally threw it to the ground and stomped on it while people were in it, while there were coffee carts and food carts and hot dog stands and film equipment and women and kids on their iPads. They tore it to the ground and trampled it with people in there. And do you realize how many people it takes to tear apart an 800 capacity white tarp tent? It takes a lot more than 1 or 2. It takes an entire mob of people to say, I don't care what happens today. If we have to take a couple of lives, as the Democrats have said, blood will be shed, we will make our voices heard. And this is an entire mass of people committing massive acts of violence. And I don't even know if I'm going to press charges. I'm going to release this tape so people know this little 240-pound, 5'8" gelatinous tub of goo from the next guy. Tell him he's got one choice. Actually, let's make it two choices. He can either fess up and go to jail, or number two, he can meet me from across the cage where it's just him and I. Give us 5 minutes and see who walks out.
Yeah, then you won't be just trying to keep him from hurting himself as he windmills at you. Well, this is. Were you aware that while you were out there doing these interviews, you had Michigan House Democrats and people like Douglas Geis who were saying, and I quote directly, "We are going to undo 100 years of labor relations, and there will be blood. We will relive the battle of the overpass." They were essentially inciting mob violence by saying these things on the floor.
I have no idea that was going on, Dana. All I knew was I was getting romped on, getting haymakers thrown at me, sucker punched, seeing women and kids crawling out from a tent as they were there just because, mommy and daddy who actually worked maybe couldn't take a couple of hours off, so their kids were there. All I know is what I saw. I did not know what was going on. I did not know what those Democrats were saying. All I know is I put my body on the line. This is when Andrew Breitbart lived for. It's what he stood for. I went out there. I took my licks. I put my body on the line. Time to draw a line in the sand. Are you with people like me? Are you with people like Dana? Are you with conservatives who are putting it on the line and getting hurt for it? Or you want to sign up with the Karl Roves and the Dick Morrises sitting behind their desks with walls of cash, developing their little political consulting strategy? Because right now it's time to move forward, and you need to decide who you're with and who has your best interest at heart. I literally just peeled some thug mobsters off of women. You tell me who you want having your back.
Oh, my gosh, it makes me sick. It's sickening. Where were the police when all this was happening?
None, not one. And that's what I don't understand. I don't understand at all. At the Tea Party, there were police everywhere. These people were invading the tent. It happened over the course of 20 to 25 minutes. They tore down private property, and they assaulted people, and it's all on tape. It's all on tape, and you can verify this when you see the video that goes up, again, at S. Crowder on Twitter. You can see it. You can see the timeline unwind, and there was not a single police officer to be found. My guess is because they're union guys themselves, but not one, Dana, not one, as you heard the cries and the fights were breaking out. I actually looked around to think I would have to give a statement because this guy assaulted me, and instead I got circled by vultures and told that they were going to kill me with a gun.
Wow. And this, and they would have had to have known because they knew all this was going to happen. The union folks have been bussed up there. They've been assembling up there. They knew that they've already had people trying to guard both of the chambers. So they knew that something like this was going to happen. You were media. You weren't there. You were there just to collect information and to take that and, put it out there. And they came at you that way. They went after AFP activists. I heard that they were screaming and shouting down a rally that grassroots were having, and apparently they stormed the stage.
That's where they destroyed the tent.
Oh gosh, it was all the same thing.
But I was there at the tent, and the only reason I don't work with AFP, the only reason I was there was because it was the one area where people were actually being civil, and it seemed like you could actually get some protection. I know they were shouting them down and yelling at them. According to these mobsters, they never answered my question. I said, "Why are you so against right to work?" They never gave a valid answer. Instead, they said I was hired by Amway. Then I was hired by the DeVosses. Then I was hired by the Koch brothers. And then I was hired by AFP. They didn't want to answer the question, but when they say those things and they make those people out to be the ultimate evil, well, then by golly, it's okay to throw a couple of haymakers at someone's face when you've got your buddies around. Because after all, I work for the evil establishment. I'm not a self-employed man who has a wife to feed and not without a bunch of cushy union benefits. I'm just another body across the park from them. And it's really, again, really different. It takes a lot of restraint to not do anything. But if any of these Michigan Union members, any of them, want to take some time out, lock us in a racquetball court one-on-one, I am easy to find at S. Crowder.
Well, be safe up there. And this, they just sent this legislation to Rick Snyder's office for him to sign. One last quick question for you. The president was there just yesterday giving a speech in Michigan, and he got into the right to work. Do you think, he has said before to his party, well, punch back twice as hard. If they bring a knife to the fight, you bring a gun. Do you think that he went there with the purpose of helping to rile everyone up like Michigan Democrats have been doing all day today?
Listen, I can't question motive. What I can say is when Sarah Palin had a map up with targets of where they needed to get out the vote, that was seen as incredibly violent. When people get up on stage and say there will be blood, you need to bring a gun to a knife fight. Apparently, they're okay with that. Let's see if apparently they're okay with the assault of women and children and myself and tearing down private property. This should be condemned across the board. You have never seen a video like this on a large scale. I am telling you, Dana, It looks like that scene from The Dark Knight Rises.
Geez.
I'm not exaggerating. It looks like that. It will send chills down your spine. I'm still amped up about it. My blood pressure's really high. It was probably the most surreal experience of my life.
What's the ETA that we're looking at for the video?
It's going up as soon as I get off the phone. I'm sharing it, so it'll probably be up within the next half hour. And please, everybody, get it out everywhere. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. These people were hitting cameras out of hands and hitting camera phones out of hands. They don't want us to see them. If we see them, if we show them for who they are, we win.
Exactly. Stephen, I appreciate you doing what you're doing. Keep it up and be safe.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right, you too. We're praying for you. Thanks, Stephen.